Welcome back. I'm your host, Ryan Lencl. You're listening to The Angle of Pursuit on ESPN 970, WFUN 542 on a Thursday evening. And with us now, special guest. We're very happy to have him. It's Cavs radio play-by-play man, John Lencl. John, how are you today?
Great, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm really excited to have you on. I got a ton of questions for you. I want to jump right into everything. First of all, I want to give you an opportunity here. We're out here in Northeast Ohio, but Northwest Pennsylvania. We've got a big signal out here. Give us a little bit of an idea about your beginning in radio.
Well, I tell you, it was a little bit of a circuitous route. I actually started practicing law. I went to Notre Dame Law School, and actually in Western Pennsylvania, I practiced law for the first 4 or 5 years of my professional career. But this is something I always wanted to do, and actually while I was practicing law, I started moonlighting, calling high school and small college games during the evening while I was in court during the day. And a couple of years after I started doing that, I said, you know what, if I don't take a chance doing this, it's never going to happen. And I was fortunate to get a job, a single-A baseball job in Hagerstown, Maryland. And from there, from baseball, I went to hockey, and from hockey, I arrived here with the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, being a small radio guy myself, we all know how that route travels. You take something early, and you see where it lands you, right?
That's it. That's it.
That's fantastic. You're giving inspiration to all of us in the small markets. You in particular, everybody's got a difficult ordeal getting involved in a major job like what you're doing. I mean, this is a big step up, and it's obviously a great professional accomplishment to get where you are. But it's very unique for you because you're taking over for a legend in Joe Tate. Describe the unique challenge in that.
Well, I mean, it's funny just meeting people around the Cavaliers organization this past week that, they find out who I am. It's almost like a wink and a nudge and like, hey, good luck, buddy, following Joe Tate after 39 years. I mean, hey, Joe's Joe, and he's a Hall of Famer for a reason. His name hangs in the rafters for a reason, and there's a reason you can go to the team shop and buy an authentic Cavs Tate jersey with 39 on the back for his 39 years. He's terrific, and some of us in the business consider him the best that's ever been. But to be honest with you, coming in like this, it's something that we're going to embrace. They've assembled a nice team. I have a great color commentator in Jim Chones, a consummate professional. Mike Snyder, he's the host, one of the best hosts in the National Basketball Association, if not the best. And we're embracing this situation, and we're humbled by it that the Cavaliers have looked to us to be the ones who carry on that tradition that Joe started so long ago.
John Lencl, radio play-by-play man for the Cleveland Cavaliers. You bring up a very good point. You can look at it as pressure to replace a legend, but you can also take it as, hey, they trusted this great team to take over for them.
Well, that's right. And it's to me, how I've compared it before, it's almost like Aaron Rodgers going into a Green Bay situation. I mean, Rodgers could have gone in and hung his head and said, "Oh my goodness, I'm following this legend. How am I ever going to replace this guy? They're never going to forget about him. He's the greatest." But he didn't. He went in there. He held his head high and he worked as hard as he could. And what he wanted the fans to say is, hey, that guy before, he was a legend, and he deserves to be for all the great things that he's done. But boy, am I glad that this organization chose Aaron Rodgers to move forward. And, again, that's the attitude we're looking for going into this job here this season.
When you talk about being in, baseball and then hockey, what's the transition like from professional hockey over to professional basketball?
A little bit of a transition. I mean, most people, though, I think would be surprised as far as basketball and hockey are concerned that they're a little more similar than you might think as far as the flow of a game is concerned. But yeah, I mean, is there going to be a transition period? Certainly. I mean, I've been calling hockey for the last 8 straight seasons. So yeah, will there be some turnover time? Yes, but am I comfortable calling this sport of basketball? I'm actually as equally comfortable calling all 4 sports. So yes, is there going to be transition? Of course, but I'm comfortable coming in, and again, with the lockout, while things are rushed now, it is a situation where we have had now a couple of months to prepare, and while I was still doing hockey, was still working for the Blue Jackets right up until the end of the lockout. We were preparing. We were looking at this season. We were getting ready. So hopefully those extra couple of months, hopefully we did something good with this lockout. Huh?
Absolutely.
As far as getting ready for the upcoming season.
John Lencl, Cavaliers radio play-by-play. Now, what's your favorite sport? Not to call, but just your favorite sport.
That's hard for me to say, and it's different for me to watch and to call and to play. It's really all different. as far as calling the sports, to be honest with you, I like calling them all equally. And it also is funny, Ryan, you asked me, it kind of depends upon what part of the season it is. And for an example, if it's, let's say, August or September after a long baseball season, I'll tell you, yeah, I'm ready for hockey or basketball to roll around, Or if it's March or April and into the playoffs of a winter sport, I'm saying, well, I'm ready for baseball to come back. And, it's the same with football in there as well. So I guess the answer to that depends upon when you ask me. But to be honest, I like calling all four sports equally.
It'll take you a little while before your voice is sort of comfortable in the minds of a lot of listeners. So until that time happens, tell us a little bit about your style and about what you're going to bring to the microphone.
Well, it's an upbeat style, and I think there are going to be – I think where that comes from, there is a little bit of carryover from hockey. That is such a fast-paced sport. Obviously, I won't be doing basketball at the same pace that I do hockey, but I think it's an upbeat, energetic style call. And I think people will be interested as far as what we're going to do this season. We're hoping to incorporate a lot of player sound and a lot of, just getting the folks to know this young team with a lot of assets. It's a team now going forward. They have a lot of flexibility, and I think it's a fun time. Even though the Cavaliers, of course, struggled on the court last season, it's a fun time to be a Cavaliers fan with some of the young bodies and the talent that they have here. And what we're going to do as we progress with our radio broadcast, we're going to hope to give folks a listen to some of these players more often during the game, during free throws and things like that. Also involve some people with social media as well. So I think fans are going to enjoy what we have going forward.